Hi guys, Brian from Brian Boas here. 2021 has been a super busy Locality Boa breeding season for me so far. Today I want to give you guys an update on some of my breeding pairings, and we'll take a close-up look to see if we can capture any mating behaviors on camera. So if you've been following, I'm now about 3 months into the breeding season. I paired up most of my animals in late December. Now here we are in late March, so it's been about 3 months. And recently I separated them for feeding and then I paired them back up. So basically I have the pairs together after the end of the winter cooling for about 3 weeks or so. Then I'll separate them and I'll give them about a week. I'll feed them and give them about a week separate, and then I'll put them back together. And this seems to work pretty well for me. So at this point, I think I'm getting pretty close to confirming some gravid animals. I don't have any post-ovulation sheds yet. Typically, I'll get my first post-ovulation sheds in late March or early April. And you know, those babies will be arriving sometime around late June, early July. The true red tails typically I would expect to arrive a couple months after that, anytime between August and October. This year I have about twice as many pairings as I've had in the past, so I've been really busy just monitoring all these animals. Keeping really accurate, careful notes is very important if you have lots of animals paired up. I have a few females that are going into shed right now, and this potentially could be a post-ovulation shed, or it may not be. And some of my red tails are going into shed, so I think that this probably isn't the post-ovulation shed because it would be too early based on my experience in the past. And as I said, the red tails almost always give birth between August and October at my facility. So a lot of people at this point in the breeding season, they've seen lots of evidence of tail wrapping, lots of evidence of their males and females doing the deed and hopefully making some babies. But it would really be a mistake to separate at this point. So until you're like 100% sure that your females are gravid, I don't separate. And typically I'll keep pairs together until like June if necessary. If it doesn't happen by June, it's not going to happen until hopefully next year. And so I keep them together until I have that post-ovulation shed and my female starts acting gravid, basically coiled over the hot spot and looking gravid. And I'll say more about gravid females and how to check for gravid females as the season progresses. But for now, I want to take out my close-up lens and show you, and hopefully we can capture some mating behaviors. And then after that, I'm going to say a little bit about my baby boas and how you can obtain one if you're looking to get one. Here's a pair of Pucallpa, Peru Redtail Boas. Very hopeful and excited about this pairing. The female is actually in shed right now. I don't know if you can see, her eye is opaque, but I put her back together with the male a few days ago, and the male's been courting her. You can see the male is on top there, that's the female's head right there. So possibly something's still going on. The female's also gotten quite thick around, which is a good sign. But like I said, I always put them together until I'm sure that I have a gravid female. So the male, you can see his head right there. He's still courting the female. He's still on top. Typically, the males will lose interest once the females are gravid. So a lot of people make the mistake of thinking their female's gravid and they don't put the male back in, and they end up with a bunch of slugs or something like that. So, going to keep them together until I'm absolutely sure I have a gravid female. But really hopeful on these Pucallpa, Peru true red tails. Here's another pairing of true red tails I'm also really excited about. This is a second generation birth of the Prometheus bloodline with my other maid bloodline. The female's actually in shed as well. So, and you can see she's really thick. So that's the female on top there. The male is just in the back there. He's the Prometheus bloodline. They're looking really dirty right now. You can see I think they're both in shed, and they're both really dull, and making baby boas is a pretty messy business. So you can see there's, even though I just changed out this cage, there's quite a bit of goo, and I'll leave it to your imagination. But pretty hopeful about this pairing. I'm waiting for the shed. Not sure if it's a post-ovulation shed, but we'll see if the female starts acting like she's gravid. You know, and this is really exciting because this is the first time I've crossed my two main bloodlines. You know, I got a 2014 wholeback female with a 2016 wholeback male from the Prometheus bloodline. So this could be a really, you know, top-notch litter of Suriname true redtail boas. Another really nice true redtail pairing I'm really excited about is these North Brazilian true redtails. This is the first time I've attempted to breed these guys. These guys are 2015 babies, and the female is actually in shed. So I think a lot of these sheds, rather than being post-ovulation sheds, are most likely just normal sheds because they haven't shed since the winter cooling. And you know, I probably would expect to get a post-ovulation shed in about, I don't know, a month and a half or so. But the female is looking quite thick. Sometimes you can see the ovulation, but in true redtail boas it can be a little subtle, you know, and often I will miss the signs of ovulation in these animals. But like I said, I just keep them together, typically for up to 6 months if necessary, to ensure that my females become gravid. And so there's the male in the back there. Again, I don't know if this is mating behavior. I, you know, try to just let the animals do their thing. But, you know, as long as the male is, you know, touching the female and he's not off in a corner somewhere, that's at least a positive sign that something could be going on. But, you know, these guys aren't tail to tail. There's no obvious signs of, you know, breeding activity. Here's another pair that not exactly sure what's going on. These are my Paraguana Peninsula Boas from Venezuela. Cool, rare dwarf locality boa. First time breeding for these guys. I haven't bred these animals before, or you know, this type of boa, so just have to see what happens. You can probably tell, you know, a common theme of boa breeding at this time of year is I don't know exactly what's going on, and you know, I just have to wait and see. You know, these guys have been together. I've noticed the male wrapping his tail on and off. You can see he doesn't have his tail wrapped right now, but just give them their space, let them do their thing, and hopefully we'll have some baby Paraguana Peninsula Boas later this year. And one more dwarf locality boa pairing. These are my Tarahumara mountain boas. You know, this is an older pair that have bred for me several times before. This is, I believe, the 4th time I paired them up. There's the female, there's the male. The male had kind of his tail wrapped around the female's tail earlier today, but it looks like they're not going at it right now. Not sure if I'm going to get a litter. I paired this male up with my other female last year, and unfortunately I didn't get a litter. I think it might be this male is maybe getting a little on the older side, or maybe he's just doesn't like that female. Hopefully he likes this female better, but we'll have to just wait and see for if I get any of these Tarahumara dwarf boas. I know they're super popular lately and their supply has been very, very limited, so I hope to have some babies to offer you guys later this year. Here's my Hog Island pairing, and the female, it's definitely looking quite thick. She hasn't shed yet. You know, I just stuck her back in with the male, see what's going on. I don't know if you can see the male. He's kind of in the dark and back there, but he's kind of lying on top of her. They're not tail to tail, but you know, pretty hopeful that this female is gravid now. You know, I would expect that she would probably shed within the next couple weeks, if that's the case. But until then, I'm just going to keep them together, and hopefully, you know, we'll have a confirmed gravid female soon. Here's another first-year breeding attempt for me. These are Kubsch pastel pure Colombian Boas, and I put them back together a few days ago. The male is typically on top of the female. You can see he's, you know, the less thick animal that's a little bright, more lighter colored. That's the female on the bottom there. Nothing obvious going on right now. You know, again, at least they're touching each other. The male's not just sitting off in the corner somewhere, so hopeful that these guys will have a confirmed gravid female in the next month or so. Here's another cool, really rare boa. This is a Honduran Firebelly pairing. You know, unlike most of the pairs I showed you today, there's nothing obvious going on. That's the smaller male, that's the female in the back. Female's in shed. I'm not sure if it's a post-ovulation shed, but keeping an eye on her. And I'll keep these guys together until it's confirmed that I have a gravid female. A couple years ago I paired this pair up, and unfortunately the female delivered early. Everything was looking great until about 2 weeks before her due date, and she delivered her litter of 13 babies early. Unfortunately, only 2 of them survived, which was really heartbreaking. You know, this sometimes just happens. I mean, everything looked perfect with that litter. Not quite sure why she delivered early, you know, but unfortunately it happened. So fingers crossed that I'll have a healthy litter this year of these rare Honduran Firebelly Boas. So those were some of my pairings, and I'm really excited for the possibilities. Now I just want to end the video by saying a little bit about baby boa availability, since a lot of you guys have been asking about how you can get one of my babies. And so I don't expect the babies to be for sale until about a month and a half or so after they've been born. So that'll probably be the late summer to early fall. The sales terms are first come, first serve. I don't do waiting lists, and as soon as I put the babies up for sale, it's a first come, first serve basis. So make sure you pay attention to this channel. And I'll be giving a lot of updates as the season progresses, as my babies are born, and as I establish them and get them ready for sale. So if you want to potentially get one of my babies, stay tuned to future videos for information about when they're going to be up for sale. And so unfortunately at this point I can't guarantee that I'm going to have any number of babies. I mean, I've been pretty open with what I'm pairing up this year, so that's potential babies, but there's never any guarantees. In addition, sometimes I might get like a really small litter and I might end up keeping all the babies as holdbacks. So, you know, just because a baby litter is born doesn't mean that babies will be available. But if you look back at my offerings in previous years, that should give you a pretty good idea about the availability and the price. And, you know, another question, I don't know what the prices are going to be at this point. You know, I have a pretty good idea based on the previous year's sales and what the market prices are, but I don't have any, you know, definite prices established at this point. I have to wait until the babies are born before I can figure that out. So please be patient, bear with me. You know, coming this fall, I hope to have a lot of, you know, really top-notch, very high-quality locality boa constrictors that are really hard to get. So if you really want that rare, special locality boa for your collection, hopefully I'll have something to offer you. So that's a little bit about my sales terms and my 2021 breeding. Hope this was helpful. As always, shoot me any questions you may have via social media. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your boas.